By now, many of us have seen various takes on the recently released body cam footage of the incident involving George Floyd. Some believe it changed absolutely nothing, while others believe it broke the narrative that was given to us by the media. So in this video, I'd like to give my opinion on the criticisms made in response to this new police body cam footage, as well as my entire take on the George Floyd incident. So after watching a few opinion pieces in regards to the new body cam video, I noticed a pretty consistent narrative when it came to those who concluded that this new footage didn't change anything. And it was the fact that Officer Thomas Lane pulled his gun out within seconds of confronting George Floyd.
Rookie Minneapolis police officer Thomas Lane drawing his gun seconds after approaching Floyd's vehicle.
Put your hands.
Do nothing.
Just seconds after approaching the vehicle, rookie officer Thomas Lane pulls his gun and points it at a noticeably startled and scared Floyd.
Anyway, the cop approaches him, tells him to put his hands up, and within 22 seconds in, the cop is pulling his gun, pointing it at George Floyd's fucking head.
Now, while this assessment is technically correct, they all seemingly fail to point out a very crucial element to this video. And that would be the number of times Officer Thomas Lane issued a demand before the gun was pulled. Once while the door was still closed, and 3 more times after it was open, the gun becoming visible on the 4th demand. So, why is this important? Well, one thing us civilians will never understand about being a cop is just how dangerous this particular moment is for police officers. Approaching the driver's side window of a suspect's car. And just a warning, the following clips may be disturbing.
This is a story of split-second moments, starting when Albuquerque police officer Lou Golson pulls over a suspected drunk driver. What he doesn't know, this car is stolen. With his body camera rolling early Saturday, Officer Golson gets his first brief glimpse of the driver.
Turn it off.
But go forward less than half a second, and you see the handgun Golson never had time to. Golson is hit, but fires back. Bullet casings fly. Golson tries reloading, but with a broken wrist, he can't. That gives the suspect the split second he needs to escape.
Just been 2780. What's up, man? Shot fired.
How you doing? What's your name?
Mark.
Walter?
Mark.
Your name is not Walter?
Why?
Because that's your name?
But why, though?
Okay, step out of the car. Step out of the car. Step out of the car.
We have plenty of documented cases of police officers being injured or killed within seconds of approaching a driver's side window. So, would a police officer feel the need to potentially defend themselves if a possible suspect is opening doors, ignoring directions, and moving around sporadically? Yeah. Regardless of how you feel about this incident, you cannot deny that George Floyd's actions contributed to the escalation of the situation. He did everything you shouldn't do when a police officer pulls you over. He ignored orders multiple times and continuously moved his hands and body in unpredictable ways. If you watch the video, you can see a part where Thomas Lane backs up with the gun drawn saying Jesus Christ because this guy wouldn't stop moving.
Put your hand up there. Put your fucking hand up there. Jesus Christ. Keep your fucking hands on the wheel.
Also, I can only imagine that he would have had a much easier time with police officers if he didn't have drugs in his system. Don't do drugs. They're bad for you. I still hold that Derek Chauvin is primarily responsible for George Floyd's death. The knee in the back of the neck should have never happened, and everyone who's seen the video understands and agrees with that. If you want to hold the police officers accountable for what they did, fine, that's cool. But you also need to hold George Floyd accountable for what he did. And on that same note, we also need to hold the media accountable for how they portrayed this entire incident. It wasn't this racially motivated, premeditated murder like the media originally portrayed it as. That is why it breaks the original narrative that the police just rode up on this innocent black guy, pulled him out the car, and just choked him to death. In a conversation I had with a friend on Facebook, his comment summarized it perfectly. The issue isn't whether the police caused a wrongful death, that much is obvious. How they could have done better given the circumstances is up for debate, and I welcome that. However, my issue is that the video shows an entirely uncooperative Floyd from the start of the interaction to the tragic end. What seems to be more appeals to sympathy by mentioning all the people he loves, similar to earlier in the video when he says, "I'm not that kind of guy," directly before forcefully ejecting himself out of the other side of the cop car, and police securing him, perhaps too forcefully than warranted. This directly contradicts the imagery painted by the media and Black Lives Matter supporters. He isn't a model citizen in his interactions with the police. He isn't crying, wheezing, begging for his mom at the end, and the police aren't casually stomping on his neck with smiles on their faces. My problem is not with the message of police need to be held accountable. I agree with that. It's with the lying the media and Black Lives Matter did to make Floyd out to be a poster child of brutality when the video really shows the police going pretty far to accommodate an unwilling suspect. Because of how this incident was portrayed, we've had to endure 3 straight months of civil unrest by the hands of Black Lives Matter, a group that says they're all about positive change for races, but they seem to be doing everything but. It requires so much more nuance than just walking around holding a sign saying defund the police, whatever that means. Look, there is plenty of reason to demand police reform. I'm all for the idea of examining local law enforcement to see if there are any improvements and issues that need to be adapted to or discarded. But we are getting nowhere closer to reaching a resolution to this issue with Black Lives Matter constantly dominating the conversation with stupid lines like defund the police. The sooner we dismiss that obnoxious nonsense, the sooner we can get to tackling the issue of police brutality. Because as we all know, that's something that affects everybody in the country, not just Black lives. Anyways, folks, that'll do for today's video. What do you guys think? Do you think that this was just another case blown out of proportion by the media to push another narrative? Or do you think this was just another case of modern-day racism in modern-day America? Leave your comments down below. You know I read them all. This is Immortal Afro Mega, and I'll see you on the next upload. Peace.